So welcome back to another episode. Welcome back to another Rob. And I gotta say, I'm really enjoing your t-shirt today.
Oh, you remember this is the one that you gave me for Christmas.
Oh, I'm getting a small tear here.
I love my Marvin the Martian shirt.
Today we want to talk about games that have gone missing from our collections. Things that we thought we had, but all of a sudden we didn't have. What the hell happened to our games? And the one I'm just gonna bring up to begin with, and I have you here to talk about it. Mario 64 is one of our favorite games of all time.
Yes.
It really is. And a whole bunch of N64 games I really love as well.
Yeah.
Like, obviously Mario Kart 64 is another favorite of mine. They're gone, folks. They're gone. I mentioned it in another video. I don't know.
What do you mean they're gone?
They're gone. I don't know whatever happened to them.
You went through all that epicness on launch day to get that Mario 64.
Yeah.
And I mean, you had Mario Kart 64 on launch day.
And that's an important one for me because of my dad and that memory and all that.
Yeah.
And it's so weird.
But it's not. It's gone.
I got a question for you. When I moved from Delta to my old place, were they there? I wonder.
You know, I don't remember because you were glued to that Dreamcast in Phantasy Star 2.
For Phantasy
Star Online. Sorry, not 2. Phantasy Star Online. Oh god, the comments are gonna blow up now. They're gonna be mad at us. Phantasy Star Online. You were so glued to that. That's all I remember seeing you play. Between that and your DVDs of anime, since that was such a big thing, I don't remember.
It's a weird thing. So
you must have.
No, I honestly, I never would have sold them in a million.
No.
I never lent them out. I know we all also.
Now,
I have a
That is a huge. So many games used to go missing.
Yes.
Oh, from lending them out.
Right, and that's what I wanted to say to everybody out there. This is, and I'm saying it to the younger people. Yeah. Somebody told me, never lend out your movies or video games.
Yeah, no.
Never. No. Not to anyone. Not to anybody. Me and Rob, we learned a level of trust to do that.
Yes.
But that was very unusual to do. I lent some games to friends of mine. They came back, manuals would be missing, things would be scratched. Oh, sorry, I stood on the box. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? You stood on my Final Fantasy 3 box. I was like, it's fucking insanity. So don't lend your stuff out. That sounds bad.
No.
But you know what? And especially if you break up being friends with somebody, you forget what you lent out at times. Oh my God. I'm sure I got some. But I never lent those games out. It's weird what happened to them.
I have no idea.
I know.
Because there's no way. I learned not to lend out games.
Yes.
Back, and you'll remember because you were the biggest part of the solution to this. Back in the day, before we were hanging out, back when we were still in school.
How old were you? Oh, back in, were you 16?
I would have been about 13, 14.
Oh, you were that young, so I was hanging out with your brother.
You were hanging out with my brother at this time. And I lent out some games to Taka, the infamous Taka, and he borrowed 6 NES games of mine. I remember there was Roger Rabbit, Snake, Rattle, and Roll, I think one of the Ikari Warriors games, and a couple others. I lent him like 6 games. And then I kept going, and he was kind of a bully. I didn't hang out with this guy. He just approached me, and he was one of the sort of the cool older guys at school, and I daren't say no. So I lent him these games, and then I was like, hey, so can I get my games back? And he was like, well, not right now. I'm still playing them. And I kept bugging him over weeks and weeks. Can I get my games back? Can I get my games back? And then it turned out that, and I phoned his house at one point, and he got mad. He was like, you talked to my mom about your games? You can't phone my house. He was like threatening me and stuff. He got intense because I wanted my fucking games back. And so I remember I mentioned it to you, and you knew Taka.
So back in the day, my skateboarding group, Taka was a guy on the outside of our group. Okay. He's a younger guy, and he's a bit of a goofy guy, and he thought he's a wannabe gangster guy as well, and all of that.
Who terrified me because I was like white Steve Urkel.
Yeah.
I like glasses and braces and pants up to here.
And he really wanted to be part of our skateboarding group, and we kind of like kept him on the edge. So anyways,
I remember I mentioned this to you.
Yeah.
And you can fill in the blanks on this story because I mentioned it to you, and you said, okay, I'll get back to you. And that was the last I heard of it for a week, and then you came up to me, and you just handed me my games and said, never lend out games again. And walked away, and that was it.
Is that what happened, eh?
From what I heard, though, you because he had lent some of them to some of his friends, who lent some of them to some of their friends, and you tracked these down through all these people. Like, he lent you this game, and they were like, oh, no, I lent it to this guy, and you found them all for me.
You were picked on so much, and I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna get the games back. I remember doing it. I don't remember the details. I just remember going off into the underworld and getting them back. And I do remember giving them to you, and that's about all I do remember at that point.
Well,
so that's great that you got them all back. That's awesome.
But that was where I learned that big lesson: do not lend out games.
Never.
Ever.
Never. Not in a million years.
Like not trading, not lending, not never again would I make that mistake. And again, we've earned a certain level of trust. But like my first copy of Super Bomberman 2.
Yes. Oh, what game we love?
I don't somewhere between Delta and when I was living in New West. It gone. Yep. It disappeared. I ended up having to buy a new one.
Well, I just went to Willow Video Games, had to buy a replacement for Resident Evil 0 on the GameCube.
What?
It just disappeared. I bought a used copy from Willow back in the day.
I remember.
Yeah, it wasn't an expensive copy or anything like that, but it was my copy. And so I was looking through all the collection, trying to find Resident Evil 0. I couldn't fucking find it. I mean, it's not here. And I even took when I took apart the games room, it wasn't there. Never. Just gone.
That's bizarre.
And it's really weird. You think to yourself, what happened to some games? Like, for you guys out there, you must have lent some games to people and never got them back, or games went missing from your collection. Let us know down below. I'm really curious to know other people's stories that have happened.
The only person I've ever met that was able to mitigate this and the work involved, he made an Excel spreadsheet.
Who?
This guy now he was a movie collector, not a game collector. But when I was working in the law firm mailroom, one of the lawyers, he's CNL. He was a big CNL guy back in the day when CNL was the shop to get your DVDs from.
In Laserdisc.
So he found out that I was a DVD movie collector guy as well. He had like a book of Excel spreadsheets of every movie he owned. And then there in the box next to it, if he ever lent one to somebody, he wrote their name in pencil. And then he kept it there. And then he'd go through and he'd be like, that person has returned, because when they returned it, he'd erase their name.
Well, you need to get is a big eraser. Hey, he didn't let me say it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have nothing. There's nothing in the spreadsheet.
Look, it's free.
Fucking pencil.
Yep, but outside of that, don't lend anything out because you'll never see it.
Yeah, it's really weird, and I wonder to myself, I'm like, I know I didn't sell Mario 64. I know I didn't. I mean, it must have been taken from me by some shady person along the road. But why would they only take that?
I don't know. That's bizarre.
I have better things to take at time, or more expensive things.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. You know? And be careful who you invite over. I told the story about Jeff. Remember back in the day? I've already told the story, so like my weird Nintendo story.
Yeah.
He'd lend me all his NES games. Yeah. He lent me like 15 of them.
Jesus.
Yeah, this is like 1988, maybe even. Yeah, it's 1988-ish. And so I was like, oh, wow, thanks so much. And then all of a sudden, one day I came home. Do you know this?
No.
I came home to play them because he was so nice enough to lend them. I got home and they were all gone. And I was like, oh my God. And the door, well, back in Delta, we used to, lived in a neighborhood where you kept the doors open in your house.
Yeah.
They were all gone. So I didn't know what to do. So I was like, oh my God, somebody's come in and taken them all. So I phoned him up and I'm like, Jeff, I feel so bad. He's like, what? I said, I don't have your games. Somebody, they're not here. He's like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? And so he's like, and he was fucking berating me. He was angry. He was mad. I felt terrible. So I started giving him all the money that I had to try to pay for these games. I felt so. I didn't even tell my parents about it. Yeah. I was so scared they'd be so mad at me.
Oh yeah, because you're always shocked. Oh, I left the door unlocked. Something
you idiots! Yeah. And so I took it all on myself.
Oh, God.
And then down the road, I had a friend of mine. His name was Brian. He said to me, John. I'm like, yeah. He goes, I know what happened to the games. I'm like, because I was telling him how bad. He's like, he lent them to this other guy, James Rothney, and I'm like, what do you mean? So what happened is Jeff came over to see me with a guy who was going to
borrow those games.
Well, he's actually going to rent them, so he's going to pay Jeff money to play them.
Geez.
So they came over to my house. I wasn't there. They looked in and saw the games. Jeff just let himself in, took the games, gave them to him, rented them to him, and then he just played it off that.
Oh,
isn't that nasty?
Isn't
that nasty?
That's brutal. I hope you got your money back.
Well, you know what's really interesting about that is we just fell out of friendship, and I confronted him about it, and he just fucking sunk and just escaped out of the situation. And I was in high school I think he transferred schools, not over that, but he went to different school next year. And here's the funny thing is I ran into him when I went to film school one time.
Oh, really?
We're talking like 98.
Yeah, okay.
I ran into him, and I've never seen him since. and I made that video, and I wished, I'm not on Facebook anymore, but I always wished that I could, he's not on Facebook either. I tried to track him down, because I wanted to send him the video to say, you know, this is, you fucking asshole, because that video did quite well, and everybody's like,
And now you're
lynch him.
famous. You're internet famous for being a game-stealing prick.
I mean, you have to be a douchebag.
That is some
That's
low
low.
shit. That's
That is low shit. Did anybody ever do anything like that to you? No. You had some weird shit happen.
No, we never had anyone come in and take stuff from us.
Yeah.
But I remember that it got to the point where I wouldn't bring my games to school anymore.
No.
Because I had my locker broken into and they took my copy of DJ Boy and smashed the cartridge and put it back in the case and then ripped the instructions in half. Yeah, I ripped the instructions in half.
It was me going back in time. That game's a bitch.
I brought it to school.
They
and
did that to you? What a bunch of fucking assholes.
They used to break into my locker and throw all my school books in the toilets and they'd show.
Well, they're doing you a favor there.
Well, you know.
Thanks so much. I didn't want to do the homework anyways.
But they'd tear out all the posters that I'd put up in there, and they used to, take any games that I had and they'd wreck them. So I lost a few games to high school shenaniganry.
Yeah, you never bring your games to fuck no.
Boy, did I learn that the hard way.
Oh my God! So, anyways, those are some stories we just wanted to come talk about. And Rob was over there. We're like, we got to come and talk about some of this stuff.
He was secretly trying to find out if I stole his games. I totally did it.
What's this?
I don't know. Why, nothing. I'm so glad we can talk about this stuff. It's a mystery to us all.
He just walks out. Absolutely. I always knew it was never you. I always knew that. That's without question. I know that. Meanwhile, he's sitting on a throne of Mario 64s when he goes home.
That's right. And I've used all the rumble packs to make a massage chair out of it.
But meanwhile, in all these different homes, there's all these 40-year-old men crying to their wives about Mario 64, and you're like glowing like on this fucking throne of them all.
And every single one of them has the internal glow.
The mode of 40-year-old men's tears around us.
That's right. While they glow with the 120-star save files they will never get again.
Fucking. So let us know down below if you've ever lost in a game, mysteriously went missing, or maybe you thought somebody down the road stole it from you. Let us know down below, because I'm so curious to hear these. We had so much fun talking about our stories today. So anyways, guys, until next time.